Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hilberg.
Here.
Colasar.
Here.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here. Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of June 25th, 2012, as submitted and prepared by the clerk, be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to Council. We will not have another Finance Committee meeting until the fourth Monday in August. We will be going on break. Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meetings and nothing to report.
Thank you. Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report, and I will be scheduling a meeting in September.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report. Nothing scheduled.
Thank you. Waters and Utilities Committee, Mr. Colzar.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee and one for special legislation. For the Finance Committee, we have 12-137, revision to revocable use permit for Dominic's Restaurant. 12-138, advance request for jet fuel tank and dispensing system. 12-39, advance request 2012 and 2013 probation grant. 12-140, budget amendments. 12-141, income tax board review terms. 12-142, agreement with Arcadis Fair Road booster pump station upgrade. 12-143, bids for North Huntington waterline replacement. 12-144, bids for Ray Mallard Park Fitness Trail. 12-145, bids for 2012 concrete pavement joint ceiling. And for special legislation, we have 12-135, amendment to Section 145, public art in historic district. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the July 4th parade, I made announcements last couple of meetings. They had the shopping cart brigade, and I'm happy to report that it was a great success. They collected 814 pounds of non-perishable food items at the parade. They were collected by 20 church members from the United Church of Christ Congregational, pushing 15 decorated shopping carts. And they wanted me to express the thanks from Feeding Medina County and the local food banks to the community for supporting them in this effort. Chippewa Lake Water Ski Show Team. Every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. in Norton, Ohio, the team performs shows free of charge at Emerald Lake, which is 3196 Clark Mill Road in Norton. The team is also having a special steak dinner show in Norton on Wednesday, July 18th for $25 a person, and the steak dinner is from 5 to 6:30 p.m., and then the ski show follows. There's no charge for the ski shows other than this time when they're having the dinner. The Chippewa Lake Water Ski Show team is the only competitive ski show team in the state of Ohio. The team will also perform more locally here on Sunday, September 2nd at 5 p.m. at Chippewa Lake. Further information is available on the website www.chippewaskiteam.com. Medina Community Band concerts occur each Friday night through June and July at 8:30 p.m. This past Friday night they had the U.S. Army National Guard Band play along with them, both from 7:30 to 8:30 and then 8:30 to 9:30. These are free concerts, again, for families. Further information is at their website, www.medinacommunityband.org. And we've had, again, some concerns with motorcycles intentionally revving and causing disruption to the folks trying to listen to the concert, and our police department will be up there watching for such violations. And then last but not least, the Jazz Under the Stars have been having one concert each month, and the remaining concerts are Saturday, August 12th and Saturday, September 1st. All Saturday concerts are from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Again, no charge. Further information is available at www.ormaco.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. As council heads into summer, we in the Finance Department will be working with the other departments on the general fund budgets and 5-year plans. That's the last group of budgets and 5-year plans. We've already submitted the rest to council. Of course, we have budget hearings this week on those. The department heads will submit the general fund budgets in August, and we're going to get them the revenue estimate at the end of next week. Work with them on that, and then also be working on the bond issue, which tonight's agenda, Ordinance 137, we're appointing our bond counsel, so we'll be working on that.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the passing of my colleague and friend Art Foth. Art, as you probably know, passed away Saturday evening. He worked in our law department for almost 9 years. He was 37 years old. He leaves his wife Kelly and his son, who is 7, and his daughter, who is 5. Art was a great lawyer in our department. We handle a large volume of cases. I'm not sure if you know, the filings with Judge Chase every year run 16,000 to 18,000 cases filed. We have 4 lawyers, which include myself, handling these cases. We are tangentially involved in some of these 18,000 cases, but we really get involved in the cases that are set for trial, which run in the area of 1,600 to 2,200 cases per year. If you take that many cases and divide it by 52 weeks and figure 4 guys, that's a lot of cases. These cases are difficult. We deal a lot with the Medina Police Department officers and the Montville officers, Medina Township, Brunswick Hills, and Hinckley. These cases involve breakdown in homes, lots of domestic violence issues, assaults, theft, lots of cases that we're involved with where there's alcohol addiction, drunk driving, drug addiction, drug use. And you deal with these cases every week. It's stressful. It wears on you. You look at Judge Chase's eyes after he's sitting on the bench for, some of this. And it affects everybody. And then in the middle of this is Art, who always had a smile in his eyes, always a common sense observation, always steady as she goes, always had the backbone to try a case when it needed to be tried. In 8 years of working together, there's a chemistry in our office, and I drive pretty hard, guys work with me pretty hard. Matt and Art are steady as she goes, and then there's Rich Barbera, who we refer to as being the 4th dimension. And Rich comes up with observations that the 3 of us would never think of, but we talk these cases and we sort them out. You have no idea the amount of decisions that get made in conjunction with Judge Chase, the public defenders, who we have a great deal of respect for, the defense attorneys, and ourselves trying to sort through this, because trying to deal with this many cases in a year is in and of itself a challenge. When I came to work this morning, with the 3, Art and Rich looked at me and questions, how are we going to do this without Art? And I don't quite know. I haven't really absorbed the loss. For his family, the loss is beyond my ability to say. If he were here, he would tell you what an honor it was for the trust you put in him, because it is an honor. An honor to work with Mayor Hanwell. It was an honor to work with Mayor Lever's administration. He loved it. He loved working with the Medina PD guys and the Montville and Medina guys. You try these cases with these policemen and you become close because you're in a pit together. It's an adversarial process. It's testy sometimes. Judge Chase does a great job of evening those things out. The public defenders do a great job of evening the adversariality out so that this process works. And Art was a critical part of what it involved. He gave 100%. I relied upon him 100%. I'm going to miss him. Everybody who worked with him is going to miss him. God bless Art, and God bless his family.
Thank you, Mr. Huber. And I guess in his honor, if council will join me in a moment of silence. And our prayers are with his family, and our thoughts are with his family, and he'll be missed at the city of Medina. Chief Baraduzzi, the police chief.
Art was a friend of law enforcement, and he was a friend of the people of Medina. He will be greatly missed, and we'll do our best to take care of his family and to honor his memory. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rice, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. My condolences to Art's family, and I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Chief Painter, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, my condolences to his family. And one item for the residents. With our current drought condition, the State Fire Marshal has listed Medina County as a high-risk fire area. So I'd like to urge residents to use extreme caution if they're cooking outdoors or if they have any use for an open flame for any reason, and they should have a fire extinguisher or garden hose available. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hannon, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the community that came out for the Fireworks Festival on July 3rd. It was a great turnout and a fantastic fireworks display, so thank you. MCRC is having its annual Touch a Truck event Friday, July 20th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 in the lower lot H. This free event allows kids and parents to explore different types of city and local business vehicles and equipment. It's a great photo opportunity you don't want to miss. The next scheduled Rec Advisory Board meeting is Thursday, July 19th at 7:30 a.m. And then I'd like to add, 2 weeks ago today, the Rec Center's aquatic manager, Darlene Duncan, had lost her husband. And I would also like to give my condolences to the families of Doug Duncan and Arthur Foth for their loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our Beechwood Road reconstruction project is set to start in the next week to 10 days. I would like to advise all the property owners in the area we will be submitting a letter here this week to you. The letter will have a lot of information about the project, as well as announcing a time and a date for a public open house that we'll be conducting to allow you to come in and see the plans and ask us any questions you have about the project. Secondly, as folks on Parkview Drive know, the culvert project is underway. Wanted to extend our appreciation to all the folks out there that have been great to work with so far. Our splash pad project is out to bid now. We opened bids in about 2 weeks. And lastly, this past Friday, our Commerce Drive extension between Branch Road and State Route 18 was open to the public, so feel free to use it. And I'd like to join others up here in extending my condolences to Art's family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swanson, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report, but offer my condolences as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Conwell, Acting Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is my last meeting as Acting Service Director. I know that everybody's sad about that.
We are quite disappointed.
Yes. The real Service Director returns on the 16th, so that's a happy thing. And I also give my condolences to the Foth family. Thank you.
Thank you. Notices, communications, and petitions. There are none. Unfinished business. None. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so that it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody who wishes to address council? Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you. Wayne Hamilton, 930 Hickory Grove, Medina. I think most of you know my history here. Sat for 25 years along the sidewall over there. those benches any softer than they were 25 years ago? The expressions tell me no. Prior to that, we met down the street. Reminded of this a few nights ago. Council met in the Muni Court facility, which was down at the corner of North Court and Friendship, the upstairs of the open pantry. And but one of the judge's customers returned one night with a gallon of gasoline, and well, that ended the Muni Court at that site. But that's a story for another time. Last year, about this time, we, as members of the Charter Review Commission, had on the agenda an item that is there tonight again, and failed to speak to it. So I wanted to reinforce Council's vote out of committee tonight to bring the parks issue forward and let the voters of Medina decide the importance of that and where it might fit in our charter. We greatly appreciate that. The second issue we were more divided on. We were divided on it in the commission. I've always supported the elected position of the finance director. However, I was a member of that commission. I'm a member of a society that governs itself by majority. The vote did come out, that majority vote out of the commission to bring the finance director issue forward. I would remind you that your rules do allow you to go into committee matters and bring them to the floor and vote on them. With that, I will trust you will do what's good for Medina. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council? Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 121-12, an ordinance amending ordinance number 114-12, passed June 25, 2012, relative to the subsidy agreement between the Ohio Rail Development Commission, the Wheeling Lake Erie Railway Company, and the City of Medina relative to grade crossing improvements in the City of Medina.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested, and I add it at this time.
Second is including the emergency clause.
Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd sent council an email Friday trying to shed some light on this, but just real briefly, the city, in conjunction with the railroad, the ORDC, the state of Ohio, and OACA, completed two different projects with regards to the rail corridor here in the last year and a half. This particular one was run by the ORDC, and this ordinance is being modified to reflect the actual final costs of that project. The final costs are more than the original estimate. A couple things I wanted to point out. The city's share of those costs represents about 24% of the overall project costs. Our share is $423,293. Of our share, the state is going to reimburse us $325,000 total. They've already reimbursed some of that. We are asking for the emergency clause here today because, first of all, the work has been completed, and we'd like to pay the vendor for the costs, and secondly, the sooner we can pay it, the sooner we can apply for our reimbursement.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Ordinance 121-12 passes 7-0.
Resolution 122-12, a resolution adopting the tax budget of the City of Medina, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2013, and submitting the same to the Medina County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. We do this every year at the July meeting. It's part of the state mandated budget process, and this is this year's, if you have any questions about it.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the resolution?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Resolution 122-12 passes 7-0.
Resolution 123-12, a resolution extending the intensive supervision probation grant for the Medina Municipal Court through the fiscal year 2013.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
emergency clause has been requested, and I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause?
Any discussion? I believe this is submitted by the court as an annual intensive supervision probation grant that we vote on every year. And I believe the timeline for the emergency clause is coming up in August, or past?
It's July 1st.
That's,
Yeah.
it's on the state's fiscal year, so that's the reason for the emergency clause. Is there any further discussion on the ordinance or emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 124-12, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one 2013 Ford Explorer Sport. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Any further discussion on the ordinance? I got carried away. Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Resolution 123-12 passes 7-0.
Thank you. Now, ordinance 124-12, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one 2013 Ford Explorer Sport utility vehicle from statewide Ford for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause?
Mr. Chief Baraducci.
Mr. President, we have stretched our fleet since 2008 without adding a new vehicle, and we've just lost one here in the last couple weeks, and this is to replenish the fleet.
Thank you. Any further discussion? And the emergency clause is because of the state bid, I assume?
Yes, sir, the state bid.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 124-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 125-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Flight Services of Medina for the use, servicing, and maintenance of a jet fuel depot at the Medina Municipal Airport.
Move to approve.
Second?
Mr. Huber?
Thank you, Mr. President. The City of Medina has the University Hospital helicopter located at the Medina Airport. The helicopter uses jet fuel, so that it's clear, in case anybody doesn't know what that is. These helicopters and the other helicopters that are frequently in use what's called jet fuel. Jet fuel is essentially kerosene or diesel fuel. We have a number of ordinances on the agenda tonight for the purpose of installing a jet fuel or kerosene fuel depot. We need to bid to put the depot in place, and the ordinance that's now before the council involves an agreement for maintaining the jet fuel depot. This agreement is between City of Medina and Flight Services of Medina. Flight Services actually operates the airport, and so an agreement between ourselves and Flight Services of Medina is necessary in order to proceed.
Thank you. And it's my understanding that the agreement is structured. The City of Medina will be providing the capital funds necessary to purchase the fuel depot equipment, and the agreement provides that from the sale of the fuel, a percentage of the revenues generated will be reimbursed back to the city to help defray the cost of the capital improvement purchases.
That's correct. We anticipate conservatively we should be able to net roughly $30 to $40, maybe $50,000 a year from the sale of jet fuel, and that money will be utilized to repay this expense as we go forward.
Thank you.
By the way, our figures may be conservative because every week we get more inquiries from outside entities as to being able to use the jet fuel. We'll have to see.
Thanks, and hopefully the implementation of the jet fuel depot, as you said, will encourage additional economic development around the airport and hopefully be a win for the City of Medina by paying off the capital costs and maybe bringing in some additional monies that will be used to help defray the costs associated with the grants that we get from the federal government on a yearly basis. So anybody else have any questions or comments related to the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Ordinance 125-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 126-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a license agreement with Ohio Edison Company for the city to construct a portion of Champion Creek multi-purpose trail across First Energy property.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause?
Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This, as council is aware, we needed permission, easements, or license from 4 different property owners for this project. This will be our 3rd one, and later in the agenda, we'll be adding the 4th one. I want to thank Ohio Edison for their cooperation. They are waiving the appraised value of the easement for us. We're asking for the emergency clause because we're ready to get started out there.
Thank you. And I would have to abstain on this particular ordinance since our law firm represents First Energy Company or their related entities in some type of capacity. Any further discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Abstain.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Motion passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Abstain.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Ordinance 126-12 passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Ordinance 127-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute preliminary legislation with the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, for the completion of State Route 3 and East Reagan intersection improvement.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This one we're particularly excited about. This is an agreement between the city and ODOT for the construction of the added turn lanes at Route 3 at the Reagan and Foot intersection. This project has been in development in one form or another for, I believe, 12 or 13 years. ODOT has committed to bidding it this fall with construction to follow thereafter.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Ordinance 127-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 128-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Delta Airport Consultants to complete design and bidding services for the jet fuel tank and dispensing system at the Medina Municipal Airport.
Move to approve.
Second?
This is just a further clarification and additional agreements to enter into with Mr. Huber's discussion on the fuel depot. Is there any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Ordinance 128-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 129-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and to award a contract to the successful bidder for the jet fuel tank pad and containment area at the Medina Municipal Airport.
Move to approve.
Second?
This is just further ordinances necessary for the fuel tank depot. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Ordinance 129-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 130-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and to award a contract to the successful bidder for the jet fuel tank and dispensing system at the Medina Municipal Airport.
Move to approve.
Second?
Any discussion? This is the final, I think, ordinance related to the airport project. Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Ordinance 130-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 131-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an emergency medical services agreement between Medina Hospital, the City of Medina, Medina Township, and Montville Township.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an agreement that the city has with Medina Hospital to provide emergency medical service for the city as well as the 2 surrounding townships. I'd respectfully ask that you pass it subject to the law director's approval. We have one more meeting with the hospital to work on finalizing one paragraph yet.
Thank you. Again, I'd have to abstain on this one since the Cleveland Clinic somehow owns Medina Hospital, and our firm does a little bit of work for the Cleveland Clinic. Do I have the motion which was subject to the law director's approval? Is the second subject to the law director's approval?
Second.
Mr. President, I'll have to abstain from this.
Oh,
Since Medina Hospital is
thanks for joining me. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Abstain.
Coin?
Abstain?
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Ordinance 131-12 passes 5 yeas, 2 abstentions.
Resolution 132-12, a resolution authorizing the City of Medina to file an application with the Ohio Attorney General's Office to participate in the Moving Ohio Forward grant program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Hannan?
Yes, this program provides funding for demolition of residential structures which have been hit by the foreclosure crisis of the last few years. City of Medina would be partnering with Medina County on an application for $500,000 in funding, which would be administered countywide, and there would not be a local match for this program. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the resolution?
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Resolution 132-12 passes 7-0.
Resolution 133-12, a resolution amending Resolution 94-12, passed May 29, 2012, authorizing an application for grant assistance from the NOACA Transportation Enhancement Grant to fund bicycle streetscape enhancements within the Champion Creek corridor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
Second, including the emergency clause?
Mr. Hannan?
Thank you, Mr. President. As noted here, Council authorized applying to NOACA for this grant program on May 29th. Since May 29th, NOACA had come out with some specific application requirements, and the legislation was required to specifically address our needs, the 20% local match, and that we would follow NOACA's procedural requirements. So it is requested that this past legislation be updated to be specific to the grant requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion with respect to the emergency clause? Clerk, please call the roll on the emergency clause.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Or the resolution? Will the clerk please call the roll on the resolution?
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Resolution 133-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 134-12, an ordinance amending ordinance number 118-808, passed June 9th, 2008, relative to the revocable use permit permitting an encroachment of the city-owned alley located south of Dominic's Restaurant on South Jefferson Street.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
Second, including the emergency clause?
Mr. Hannan?
Yes. The June 9th, 2008 revocable use permit allowed for a walk-in cooler and shed within a city alley associated with Dominic's Restaurant. Dominic's Restaurant recently approached the city asking to install some sections of fencing within that city-owned alley adjacent to the existing encroachments. This would not encroach any further into the alley, and the restaurant is asked to be able to complete this work in association with the fire damage repair work that they are wrapping up here over the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. That was any further discussion on the emergency clause because of the fire damage? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Ordinance 134-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 135-12, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make certain fund advances.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. There are two advances here. One covers the jet fuel that was discussed earlier at the meeting, the jet fuel system out at the airport. The intention is that the profits that the law director referred to there will repay this to the city. The other is for a grant, and that one will be repaid from the grant proceeds.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Ordinance 135-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 136-12, an ordinance amending ordinance number 172-11 passed December 12, 2011. Amendments to the 2012 budgets.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's a 2011 budget, sorry.
No,
Oh, is it 2012? Oh, sorry.
this year is 12.
Is it? Okay, thank you for that clarification.
All year.
Well, I just saw the 2011. I thought maybe we were amending the 2011 too.
No, that's when we passed the budget.
I fully understand. It's been a long day. Mr. Durham spoke about this earlier as the amendments to the budget. Anybody have any further discussion or comments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Ordinance 136-12 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 137-12, an ordinance providing for retaining Retzel and Andrus, a legal professional association, to provide certain legal services as bond counsel in connection with the issuance of general obligation notes and bonds of the city for the purpose of refinancing outstanding City of Medina debt.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Second, including the emergency clause.
Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. This, as you know, we asked, we did a RFP, so we had 3 firms put in. This is the low bidder, and this is a firm we've worked with in the past. We're happy with them. We want to continue to do so. The emergency clause is because this was delayed, and it's working it through to final approval here.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'll have to abstain on this one because I directly work for Retzel and Andrus Legal Professional Association, and this was publicly bid. And though it was against my wishes, we got the bid. So, any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on emergency?
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Abstain.
Motion passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Coin?
Abstain.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Ordinance 137-12 passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
One ordinance to be added, ordinance 138-12.
Move to add 138-12 to the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion adding ordinance 138-12? Will the clerk please call the roll on adding 138-12?
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 138-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept 1 perpetual trail easement for the Champion Creek Multipurpose Trail Project.
Move to approve subject to the law director's final approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
my apologies to Mr. Wetzel for the 8th time tonight. The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
I agree with Mr. Shields, and my second included the emergency clause.
Mr. Patton?
Thank you. As I mentioned earlier in the agenda, this has to do with an easement for the Champion Creek Trail. This is the 4th and final property owner easement that we need. We are asking for the emergency clause because we are ready to construct, and subject to law director's final approval, as the church and our law director are working out final details, final language of the easement.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance, which is subject to the law director's approval? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Ordinance 138-12 passes 7-0.
Council comments.
Mr. President?
Mr. Simpson?
I would also like to pass my condolences to Art's family, and this evening all of us on council has been able to see how it's affected all the employees from City Hall that work with Art on a daily basis. And again, our heartfelt sympathy goes out to Art's family. Second, I would like to just remind people, I brought up a couple meetings ago that Medina is sponsoring a Tunnel to Towers run. That date is going to be September 8th, 2012. Proceeds from this, from the Stephen Stiller Foundation will be used to build a wounded warriors, wounded veterans home down in Marietta, Ohio. That's where this year where it's going to be built is down in Marietta, Ohio. You can find out further information by going to www.tunneltotowers.org. All your help would be deeply appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further council comments? I just have, Mr. Lamb.
I just want to make this comment. Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to make this clear that I appreciate the effort, all the effort that went into that these folks put into the effort for the charter changes, both the amendments, and I think that's how government works best. And we aren't always going to agree, but I think it's important that we understand that once the decisions are made, that from my perspective anyway, then we join together with whatever the majority decision is, and we go forward to a common end. But I respect your effort that you put in, whether I agreed or disagreed, and I think that your participation, as other groups and other individuals that have come here, help to make government work better and help us arrive at good decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further council comments? I have 3 meeting notices. Though we are beginning our break really doesn't begin today. Tomorrow, Tuesday, July 10th, we have a budget meeting at 5:30. We are eager to have another meeting. I hope everybody would like to attend. Wednesday, July 11th, we continue the saga with another budget meeting at 5:30 here at City Hall. And Tuesday, August 21st, looking way ahead, we have a court and police department tour at 5:30 in preparation for review of additional budgets after that. So hope everybody has a great break and looks forward to the next 2 budget meetings and the tours for the police department and court. Any further comments? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.